Hello and welcome back. It's been a little while since I've been able to sit down and stream or record anything. I finally bought a new GPU fan for my laptop, and when I swapped them out, I noticed that the actual fan and the little housing for the old one was really wobbly, like it had come partially loose inside its casing, which I believe that's why I was dealing with issues of it grinding and why it eventually just completely quit. But that should fix the issues that I had with my laptop overheating. I have been having issues with my internet off and on. I absolutely love getting kicked out of whatever boss I'm doing or kicked out of the game and running a troubleshooter just to see everything's configured correctly and the DNS server isn't responding. But not a whole lot I can do about that. But I'm hoping to be able to start streaming and recording fairly regularly again. I've got work in about 2 hours, so I've got about an hour and a half to record. And I'm hoping to get all the challenges for Zook. I've managed to kill him a couple times. The first challenge tends to be really hit or miss for me, but I'm sure I'll get it eventually. I'm also hoping that if there's anyone struggling with it, this might help a little bit. As you can see, I've actually made it clear through a couple times. I need at least one more so I can get the Igneous Mage Cape, but I still have to go back through the fight kiln and actually get the cape to upgrade. I don't really use magic a whole lot, but what I use is Excalibur and the Elven Ritual Shards for some intermittent healing and prayer restore. I probably need to get more restore potions, which I've taken to using these instead of prayer potions because they tend to be a lot cheaper. Got my overloads. Saradomin brews, I'm trying to get into the hang of actually relying more on those than my food. Got some adrenaline potions. I do have a power burst of vitality, but generally by the time I realize that drinking it would be a good idea, it's a little too late for it. Got the repriser, so I have access to resonance and barricade. And powder of penance because I've generally used the vampirism aura just for extra healing, so that lets my prayer go a little longer. I do have the Blightbound crossbow with Coroming 4. It's not a whole lot better than Ascensions, but I do like having the extra accuracy for it. Offhand Ascension. Igneous Kel Zil, which I do like the extra damage and the buff to Deadshot. Sirenic, got Crackling 4, regular Sirenic Mask, helps if I actually swap it so it'll equip it. And I do have the Elite Sirenic chaps with Devoted 4. The Devoted 4 helps a little bit to negate damage, because I'm not very good at prayer flicking. Pretty much the only thing I can do it reliably on is against Jad. Generally, I try to flick between Soul Split and Protection Prayers. I take a lot more damage than I heal, but Book of Wind, I do not need to recharge it. I do also like the Scrimshaw of Cruelty, just for the flat 6.6% damage bonus. But at least for the beginning parts of it, this works really well, because the little melee guys are 1x1s and you can hit multiple of them with it. Everything else seems to be 3x3, so it's really hit or miss if you're going to hit more than one enemy with it. Same with Bombardment. Crackling 4, little extra damage. I like Cinderbanes for this, even though it doesn't really do anything against Zook himself, but the poison does help a little bit leading up to him. Ring of Death, if you're confident, you can use like a Stalker ring or whatever your combat style equivalent is. I like the Ring of Death because if something happens and I end up getting killed, like internet disconnecting, it saves a good bit of money, because I think the last time that I had to actually pay to get my stuff back from death, it cost me like 2 mil. My ring is overcharged. Not necessary, but lets me do more before I have to recharge it. Fleeting Boots, I like those because it lets me use rapid fire and stay moving if need be. Then Essence of Finality, I do have the Dark Bow spec, but really I like the extra healing, extra damage reduction. I don't really use the weapon special for it. I do have it down here though, but especially with the Ignis Telzil, I prefer just using Deadshot. I have managed to do this with the Ripper Demon. It doesn't seem to give as much damage as I thought it did. Checked it out on the wiki and I found out that the damage bonus had been halved, so it's only like 5% now. Can use a pack yak for the extra food. That's what I did originally. But I'm going to go ahead and just grab another Ripper Demon. I do have the Luck of the Dwarves relic power, as well as, I can never remember what it's called, but it's the one that keeps your adrenaline full, which it's not too big a deal for Zook because of all the combat, but I also like AFKing at Kriara or Dark Beasts and Vindicta, which helps with not having to rely on things like Anticipation and Freedom to keep my adrenaline up, because I generally forget to do so. I do have the enhanced Death's Swiftness and Ricochet. I'm not sure how important those are, because Death Swiftness gives like a 7 or 8 second bonus to how long it lasts. Makes it a little easier for putting down Death Swiftness, getting Zook down, and it lasting through the challenge phase. Ricochet, just a little extra damage. The only thing that I really think is necessary is the double surge, and that's just because it's difficult getting around his fire mechanic without that. I have not managed to get the hard mode unlocked yet. Don't generally have any issue with any of the challenges, except I messed up. I forgot to grab Onyx Bolts. Away we go. The Onyx Bolts are more just for extra healing. We're already off to a great start. I can't remember what I need for this. And I did this yesterday. And then my internet cut out and got killed by Zook, but it happens. So, start. For most of it, I just keep my deflect active. I don't really bother with, no, not that way. Soul Split or Torment, Desolation, except during the challenge phases or when I'm attacking Zook. The overloads tend to give you enough accuracy bonus that you don't really need it, and I try to stretch my prayer as far as possible. I don't generally bother proccing the powder until I get past the first Zook challenge, because the melee guys, you'll generally only be getting hit by about 2 of them at a time. Nope. I have noticed that that's a bit of an issue. You click on an enemy and you'll run slightly towards them and then turn back around and attack whoever you were attacking beforehand. I'm not really sure what causes that, but it's annoying. You can sit there and use your threshold to get a little, and soul split to get a little extra healing. Could probably summon my Ripper Demon, but that also helps keep from using some of your food. Zook is immune to damage throughout most of this, but you can still attack him with Soul Split active to heal. These guys generally hit really hard even through prayer, which is why I attacked them before the ranger, because I've been hit for up to 3,400 from those guys. I do have the Pontifex passive, so don't really have to worry about these too much as long as I've also got protection from magic going. Switch back to protect melee. But these first challenges really aren't too bad. Pretty much keep your Protect melee active. When it summons anything other than the Rangers, focus on them first. Or not the Rangers, the little, I think it's Hercot. Target them first. Because the Rangers and these big guys can do a lot of damage. The little birds will drain your prayer, which can make things difficult. Challenge Wave 4, I think it's 9 and 14, summons 3 igneous monsters. The first set, you have to stun them, which keeps them from healing for 2500 every couple seconds. I messed that up, clicked the wrong thing. If you start noticing your health or your prayers start dropping, that's why I like having the Enhanced Excalibur and Ritual Shard. Which I do also have the Seers challenges completely done, or achievements, so it heals twice as much as the regular Excalibur. Pretty much I just use the Ceridom Bruise and Rocktails in case of emergency. Zook, I generally don't bother putting down my Death Swiftness to start, because my understanding is even if you redo the wave, these guys will still fill up your chest out there, so extra drops. And he's now down to 555,000. So next time I'll be able to clear him out I'll get his health down to that threshold very quickly and have as much time on my Death Swiftness as possible. My stun didn't hit. It's a little annoying. There we go. Go ahead and take a dose. Get my health up a little more. Which, you'll get a decent chunk of your health back if you switch to Soul Split and your damage dealing abilities when you go attack Zook. Because even though it's only 5,000 health to trigger the next phase, you still heal. This, you have to kill all of the guys before the adrenaline bar fills to get a success. I don't think I'm going to manage it. Wait. Okay, got it. Now I can trigger my Powder of Penance, because it's going to be a bunch of ranged enemies, so you're going to be getting hit a lot more than just having the melee guys lining up behind each other. I'm not far enough forward. Of course. Get this guy out of the way as quickly as possible. It's nice because these guys lined up back here, so I was only getting hit by one ranger through that. Get rid of the big guy since I'm not praying against him. Then we'll step over here, get away from the geyser, and then get rid of the bird so it can't drain my prayer. And Jad is Jad. Really easy to read what he's doing. If you get hit, it is going to deal a lot of damage, like 8,000 damage. So, definitely not something you want to have happen. I'm not sure what his max hit is. That's the highest I've taken damage from him. But it's generally a bad time. Switch back to range. Kill the mage before anyone else spawns. Didn't realize a bird had also spawned over here. Like I said, they're annoying because they take chunks out of your prayer very quickly. These guys, the longer they're standing still, the more damage they'll deal. Get the bird over this way. Go ahead and reactivate Excalibur. But that little passive, 1% for every charge, and he gets a stack of 10 every couple seconds. You can also stand on the geysers to refill your prayer, especially if it's one of these and you've got a guy stuck back here. I don't really recommend it though, because you're only getting like 2.5% of any damage as prayer. Plus, this is actually fairly cheap. 6 mil. This guy will almost always do a lot of damage because of him being stuck back there. Since he's not moving, he gets that grounded bonus. And it'll stack up even if he's not attacking you. These guys, every now and then they'll summon a disciple, which will just provide a shield to random enemies. But the disciples will die once you kill... Oh, he moved. So, wiped out his grounded bonus. Sometimes you'll get stuck over here and it won't do that. So that's a nice little bonus here. But the disciples that the mages summon will... You can either kill them, or they'll die once the summoner dies. Generally, I just focus on the summoner, clear out 2 forms of damage. These guys, any kind of threshold will clear their heal. If it's like this and you're not sure you'll get it, you can pop a second one. Generally, rapid fire doesn't cause any problems. You can always hit devotion, get a little extra damage reduction while you're here. Dash just a little too far. pop one of those, get my health up, do that. I'm on wave 9 and I just realized that I never turned on my Book of Win. Take another dose of overload. We'll go ahead and pop that now. Devotion. But I like stacking up as much healing as possible because they hit very hard and rather consistently. Even the mages. Not quite. There we go. Now pop that, pop that. Get some health back. Second challenge is pretty easy. This guy, any damage under 3,000 is blocked, which Death Swiftness really helps negate that. Apparently familiars just don't care, so that's nice. But there's about to be a big guy spawned, so we want to head down here, get rid of him first. And this is my little safe spot for the Jad waves, because 2 of them spawn up there and they can't get to you if you're standing down here. Because I've tried standing over there and just dealing with him first, but this one will make its way over and then you're having to swap your prayers, and if you're not careful, he'll spawn close enough to be able to hit you with melee. And if you misjudge how far you are and that happens, it's probably going to kill you because of the extra mages running around. But that's 2 out of 3 challenges. Third one also isn't bad. You just have to have a shield that's ranged. Almost messed that up. Go ahead and refill our prayer again. Which at this point, prayer's not going to be too much of a problem, because you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Especially these guys. They apply a geothermal burn. You can use freedom to clear it, but it refills your prayer rather nicely. Ranger guy can't hit me yet, which we are going to step out, stun him, and try to get rid of him as quickly as possible. And then kill the big guy. There's the little disciple. Every now and then you'll see like a red bubble around an enemy that'll let you know that they're being shielded. I've learned not to rely too much on that though, because it's not an all the time thing. I don't know if it's just a graphical issue that I have with it, or if it's just the occasional thing. But generally, I find out which one's being shielded. Go ahead and do that. He should be dead. Go ahead and pop that. Get rid of that archer. And go ahead and devotion. I am not sure what my Reaper Demon's doing or why. He was originally attacking that one, and then he just wandered off into no man's land. And after this is the third challenge, which will just be mages. And this really isn't that bad. They spawn on the west, south, and east sides, and in order to clear their thing, you just have to stand inside the bubble and attack them. Devotion's nice once you start getting attacked by all of them. I should have popped it a little earlier, that way I would have gotten the extra 5 seconds from killing that one. Messed that up a little bit. But again, I'm going to come over here and just rely on my thresholds, which every now and then this will still phase him, which is why I like having the adrenaline potions. That way, if I realize that, I can take a dose, get my thing back up. Oops, wrong thing. Go ahead and dash. I am inside your belt. There we go. Go ahead and clear that. But there's enhanced devotion saving me some damage. Always nice. Excalibur's got 20 seconds. And this time, I do not do the Death Swiftness. Don't use any thresholds, because for this, it is not about killing something. I like to run back here, give myself as much time as possible. Wait for the next one. Devotion. Or not devotion. Barricade. And hope it lasts. That's the third phase done. Now I run back over here. Wait for Jed. And standing over here means these two can't get to me, so I can deal with it one at a time. If you do stand in the middle, I've noticed that they stagger all of their attacks. so you can prayer flick between all of them. Generally, I try to avoid that because I have a really hard time doing so. It's a good thing he used magic, because I didn't realize until the attack was about to hit me that he was able to shoot me over that wall. And once this is done, we wait for Har-Aken to spawn. There he is. Sadly, the wall blocked me. And you want to keep an eye on him, because if you notice that, where it launched up in the... I didn't move in time, it drains your adrenaline and reduces how much adrenaline you can get. It's a little annoying. But the best I've done on this is 2 rotations. He's gone. And you want to clear out as many of these tentacles. I got hit with another one, I didn't even see it. But you want to clear out as many of the tentacles as possible. One, it lets you keep your health up. And, okay, Har-Aken's bombarding you. It'll do a little X where you were standing. You do not want to be standing in the middle of that, because it does like 1500 typeless damage, and I'm pretty sure it can hit you multiple times. But while he's submerged, he'll do that twice. And that adrenaline drain, I have a difficult time figuring out where it's coming from, because it doesn't seem to be stuck next to him like it is when he's showing. And I try not to use my death swiftness here, because I don't want it on cooldown when it is time to kill. Did I get it? Yep. And for this, I don't really need to, because I've got full adrenaline. But we wait for him to jump in. Protect melee, death swiftness. That first one, just use freedom to clear it. Get as much damage done as possible. This next one, you use a super restore. After the second hit, surge. Wait for him to do his ground slam, and then dash back into your circle. 2, and then you want to switch. After that one, that is a typeless hit, so you definitely want to do that. And then anticipation. Switch to protect magic. You want to target them and then dash. I dashed a little early, so I ran off. The nice thing is that the fire does magic damage, not typeless, so you can use protect magic to kind of offset the damage from it. Wait until you're facing them, dash. Make sure you're in the bubble. And this one's not too bad because you get a little extra time while he charges. Put down your death swiftness again. I cannot take another dose quite yet, but now he will do 3 basic attacks before he does his burn, which is there. Clear it. And it is possible to keep him from doing a second little burn area. Dash. Let him do his ground slam. Dash back. And then it's the third. Resonance. Block that. I might be able to offset this before he goes over. We'll find out. Yep. And that resets it. Okay, it did not reset it. That is supposed to reset where his DPS rotation is. So the fact that it didn't is a little annoying. I messed that way up because now I also have to deal with this guy. And this is a problem because he's slowly going to fill back up and then he'll start healing again. Can take a dose of adrenaline potion. Kill you, attack you, death swiftness, and adrenaline. Oh, I already used that, so I can't do so again. Gonna have to charge my adrenaline the normal way. There's that. And this should be the end of it. There's that. And it is done. So, but the first time I did this, it took me a little over a month to figure out the waves and where to stand for it. Then when I finally got to Zook himself, even though I'd read the wiki and I'd watched YouTube about it, it still took me a little over a week of about 45 minutes of practice a day to really get a handle on what needed to be done and when, because the YouTube videos that I'd watched didn't really help me out, especially since it seemed like they were fast forwarding through it. But we can now leave. But especially since it's got that checkpoint right before Zook, if it's your first time trying it, I highly recommend that you use that, get used to Zook's mechanics, what you need to do, until you're fairly confident in what you need to do. You get a kill from him, and then try to go through. But Igneous Stone, which I can't even do anything with yet because I don't have the Mage Cape to upgrade. The uncut onyxes are nice because I can use those to recharge my Ring of Death. And with Zook's hard mode, which I have no idea when I'm actually going to bother trying that, but I get the feeling I'm going to die a lot. I have no idea what a chaos change rewards I get from a victory against Zamrock. Oh, that's for the ED4. But 7.5 mil. Say that's a pretty good haul. Can take these and open them real quick. Bank everything else. So 7.5 mil. Price check. Another 200k. Little disappointing, but not too bad. But like I said, I'm hoping that this might help somebody figure out what they need to do for that if they're struggling with it. But I've got to get ready for work, so I'm going to get off here. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.